Where there are markets to be moved, you can be rest assured we're here to move them. Welcome inside Studio S here at Sport Trade HQ. My name is Dan Koob, executive producer of content and media here at Sport Trade. We are joined today by the Captain Jack Andrews of Unabated, joining us yet again here on Market Movers. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. This is going to be a fun one today. We get to look at my product next to your product, so that's good for me.
Big news between Unabated and Sport Trade today. We'll hop into the order book and let you know exactly what's going on. Of course, Captain Jack is here. Unabated plus Sport Trade. We're gonna have a ton on that in just a couple of seconds, and we're gonna dial it up Thursday Night Football, as we have been known to do here, Jack. Dagger Dan's dialing it up today.
Okay.
He's got his lean. He's ready to go. But first,
let's figure out if that's the name yet. Well, we're going to see.
That's not from me. That's from the people. The people chiming in on Twitter, chiming in on the YouTube chat. They said, you said buttery soft, which I took. I manned up. I said, you know what? I am buttery soft as a trader. But what can I say? Crabs in a barrel. The true survivor comes to the top. And Dagger Dan did just that. Before we get into all of that, let's talk about the weekly sweepstakes here on Sport Trade's Market Movers. We give away $100 on the program right here every Friday afternoon. A chance to win $100 right into your Sport Trade account. If you don't have a Sport Trade account, you've got 7 days to make one. If you don't, again, a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. You can go to the website for all that. All you have to do in order to enter to win $100, we do this every single week from now through the Super Bowl, is follow Sport Trade app on Twitter, quote tweet the live Market Mover show that you're literally watching right now. Just quote tweet it and then hashtag it, Trade Up New Jersey. Okay, back to the show. Jack, a big day for both of our companies here. We are announcing our partnership between Sport Trade and Unabated, and what that means from the Sport Trade side, and I'll let you talk about what it means from the Unabated side, is if you go to unabated.com, the premier website for line shopping and all sorts of things, you will be able to see the Sport Trade odds. And in many cases, we are unashamed to say the best one typically resides on Sport Trade. So Jack, from your guys' side, obviously this helps bring in a fuller picture with betting exchanges on the site as well.
Exactly. Look, Dan, there has nothing been better for the sports bettor this year than the advent of exchange betting here in New Jersey, and also the promise of exchange betting spreading throughout the country. And this allows bettors to find the best possible price. And I've been on here before and I've talked about it. There is so much value to be found in looking at your exchange, the other exchanges that are out there, because there are, the pricing is, the margins are small. The margins are very tight. The commissions are low. We're displaying the price now, and we're doing something that people have been asking about, Dan, and that is U.S. odds, American odds. For a lot of the bettors that know me, they know that they think in U.S. odds. And so we are allowed to convert your Sport Trade odds, which I've come to love, by the way, but convert that into U.S. odds so that people can kind of do an apples-to-apples comparison. And I think that's one of the synergies between Unabated and how users can use us to then bet at Sport Trade.
Obviously mutually beneficial, right? And I've pulled down the menu where you can sort of toggle back and forth on Unabated between American, decimal, probability, and I just love that you've got Sport Trade odds here. But one of the common questions we get is, where are the American odds, right? And I'm not on the design team. I'm not on the product team. I just talk about the app. Not sure if you're going to see those because we truly believe probability is the way to go. But it is nice to be able to toggle over to American odds and see, hey, on the Saints tonight, for the total, over 45.5 plus 122 on Sport Trade is the best line you're going to be able to get. We could look at the money line as well. We could look at the spreads. As they kind of come in, the spread, and we talked about this just before the show for Thursday Night Football, Jack. Minus 1.5 for the Cardinals at minus 115. Again, the best price you can find.
And Dan, it's not just a matter of what that line is, because some people are probably watching and saying, over 45.5, the rest of the market's at 44.
Yeah.
How could over 45.5 be the best line? Well, it's the price.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Sport Trade is they're varying the price. Their market movers are changing up the price. And that plus 122 that's currently available in U.S. odds parlance is the best possible price that's out there. And you can use Unabated tools to confirm that. You can go ahead and click on the Unabated line, which we feel is with a sharp price. So click on the calculator up there in the top right-hand corner and choose the alternate lines. There you go. And now click on that over 44, which is the Unabated line. That's a VIG-free line that we put out there for people to have like a true north sense. And go ahead and click on enter 45.5. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the keyboard's always hidden in here.
That's okay.
There you go. And what this is going to say is that line should be plus 127. Well, there's no other line out there even close to that. Now, Sport Trade is plus 122, or in Sport Trade parlance, 45. Right. and that's still your best line, and that's just 5 cents off of what is the market true north, is what the VIG free zero EV line would be. And that what that means is that this is the bet that you can make to lose the least or to possibly win. In other words, it gives you the best chance.
So we wanted to talk about this. I mean, we're here, so let's chat about it, right? So on Sport Trade, as you mentioned, we will post a line, we will post a total. We don't move from it. We move the price. So a great example of this tonight is the total, where we have over 45.5 and of course under 45.5. But that price, last time I checked, for the over 45.5, or excuse me, the under 45.5 on Sport Trade is 57. So as that continues to sort of creep up and the price for the over starts to creep down, at what point as a bettor, as a trader, Jack, do you have to sort of do a cost analysis, right? Like, which is better to get into, the number or the price?
It's almost always the price, because that's what's going to kind of be the common denominator that you choose to measure the other books by. Each half point in any sporting event is worth a differing amount based on the sport, based on the side or the total and the number it is. And Unabated does a lot of that work for you in terms of figuring out what each half point is worth. Well, once you know that, well, then it all becomes a matter of price, because you can basically have these be the same literal virtual price. And so you can know that getting over 44 at minus 110 is not as good as getting over 45.5 at plus 120. I think it's up to 127 now. Did I see it move while we were talking? 125. Yeah. Somebody must have jumped in there and grabbed a piece. So yeah, this is a great way to kind of right size and compare apples to apples when it comes to your line shopping. I think it's a great tool for a great synergy between our two products. You know, we're the tools that show you where the best bets are. Sport Trade is where some of the best bets can be made. Boom.
And with that, we have more to announce about our partnership, a monthly free trial to Unabated. If you create a funded account with Sport Trade and place a trade, you can receive a free trial membership to Unabated Premium. An unbelievable deal. There is a threshold for a deposit amount on Sport Trade, but this is an opportunity for you to not only get in on Sport Trade and get in on some of the best pricing, not only in the state of New Jersey, but then to also be able to leverage that into a free monthly trial on Unabated as well. I mean, I'm sure you talk to users all the time. What do you hear about how they enjoy using it?
It's been a tremendous boost to a lot of people and how they're profiting from sports betting. I don't like to brag about what we're doing, but we have guys that have changed their life when it comes to sports betting by using Unabated. They're making life-changing money by finding the value in the market. We make it pretty clear to you. You can see on the screen that we have here. There's those little green highlighted areas are all areas where there's a positive EV bet to be made. And some of them are on Sport Trade, some of them are on other sports books, some of them are other exchanges. Unabated is sort of agnostic to that, in that we're just pointing you in the right direction. We're not telling you picks. We're not giving you spoon-feeding you anything. We are allowing you to kind of grow as a sports bettor, find the value in the market, and take advantage. And that's why I think giving away memberships via Sport Trade deposits is huge for both of us. These are people that are going to want to use Sport Trade, and they're going to want to grow and use Unabated, and they're going to be able to do so for free. And I think that's a win-win-win for all of us.
Again, one more time, get a monthly free trial to Unabated when you create a funded account with Sport Trade and place a trade to receive, again, that free trial membership to Unabated for exclusive access to in-game real-time pricing from Sport Trade. See all bookmaker and exchange prices in the 0 to 100 Sport Trade price. And, of course, that VIG-free Unabated line. It is Futures Week. Jack, here at Sport Trade, we have unveiled futures in the app. It's obviously something we're super excited about. Future betting on Sport Trade is unlike future betting anywhere else. Futures trading is something that we really think is going to sort of shift the market and shift how people approach trading on futures. So I'll ask you, Jack, I know a common sentiment is some people don't like trading betting futures because it ties up so much of your bankroll, but because of the frictionless nature of which you can get in and out on Sport Trade, how would it change your approach?
Yeah, Dan, you guys are kind of making me feel like a little bit of a liar because I've told people for years that futures are not a good bet. I talk about that there's a higher house edge there. I talk about tying up your money creates opportunity costs for making other bets. And you guys are blowing those theories out of the water because here we can have a lower house edge. They're a two-sided market with a very low straddle. And here you can get out of a position or into a position later, back and forth. It's amazing, and I learned the error of my ways last year. We have a season simulator on our site, and there's a lot of value in futures markets as the season goes on, and you can unlock that with the unabated season simulator. And I realized, I've been wrong about this. I better shut up and hope people don't remember that I've said this. And people threw it back at me and said, weren't you the guy that was telling us not to do futures? And now this is even more radical because you can cash out when you feel like I've got value and maybe this value is not going to hold. I'm going to cash out now. It's remarkable.
So we've already seen a decent amount of price movement just in the 6 days that we have publicly been out with futures. We've got our World Series markets up right now, and it has shifted considerably. The Astros were 37 yesterday, now up to 44. The Padres beat the Phillies yesterday, unfortunately, are now up to 21.5. The Phillies are at 20.5 rather, and the Yankees at $14.50. It's changing daily, but if you had, let's say, for example, one of us got in at the Phillies at 7.5 during the NLDS, if all of a sudden they lose game 2, conceivably, I would still be up on a futures bet that probably doesn't have a great chance of winning, but I could cash out for that. I do want to ask you, having said all that, if you've had a chance to look at our Super Bowl futures market, and if not, feel free to take the phone. The Bills right now are commanding a quarter of the market at $24.50 per contract. The Eagles at $13.50. The Chiefs at $11. The Buccaneers at $7. Is there anybody 6 weeks into the season that you think would present a good buy low opportunity right now? Or would you be shorting the Bills?
So at this point in the season, most of the market is still going to be a low price that you're going to say, there's more upside than downside to buying into this. So that's positive for the better. I would scroll down a little further and talk about a team that possibly has gotten out of the gate a little bit shaky. But for the most part, they have a solid team. No, I'm not going to.
Packers.
Not going to say the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
The 49ers.
Okay.
We're talking about Trey Lance being out for the season, so therefore, they must have been out of, must not have much more in the tank. They still have Garoppolo. They still have a solid team there, solid receivers, solid defense, and they're trading at $4.
Right? Yeah. $4.50 I have here.
The other thing I would do, Dan, and I haven't done this exercise, but listeners could, is look at the schedule coming up. The schedule is really, it ebbs and flows in the NFL, especially with bye weeks factored in. Look at who's got a bye week, who's got a little softer bit of their schedule, and go with that and kind of say, I can buy here because in 3 weeks I can sell, and especially if you're buying at like 4. If you're selling at 5, that's a 20% profit right there. Mm-hmm. So it's worth it to sort of take a look at the schedule, find your spots, and just, pick and move, just get in there and get out. That's the beauty of being able to trade this way.
So you're actually the second person in 2 days to tell us on Market Movers that you think the 49ers are the team. Tyler Dunn covers the NFL as a whole yesterday, also said the same thing, said look out for the 49ers, a team that I believe was 10-7 or 9-8 last year, goes all the way to the NFC Championship game and is a Jaquiski Tart interception away from going to the Super Bowl. Okay, one of the biggest market movers we've had in just the last day, and this speaks to the ability to move in and out and make money in a very quick manner in our futures markets. The New Orleans Pelicans yesterday were $1.60 to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy, and after one game in which Zion Williamson goes nuts, and they beat the Brooklyn Nets. By the way, Ben Simmons, horrible game, just warms the cockles of my heart. They went from $1, I believe $1.60 or $1.80 to $3.50. So if you had jumped in on that and bought a bushel of contracts, you're looking at a pretty nice return already after one day for a Pelicans team that has a really good team and has a boatload of picks in order to go acquire somebody. So you could be looking at a team that's top 4 in the West when we look at the playoff bracket come late March, early April. that is available right now for under $4. Something to keep in mind.
And you have 130 and a half contracts available at that. So really, this isn't that big of an investment. Throw $400 or so at it.
Yeah, why not?
And you might be able to cash out. And the best part about that is you can kind of trade out. You can do it like a trailing stop. You can maybe trade off 50 contracts at a time. And
he's
no, I'm not.
No, he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. Well, I mean, and that's one of the things too. The liquidity on the app. Again, we talk about this all the time because it bears repeating. The liquidity on the app, just the sheer number of contracts. The Denver Nuggets, for example, at $6, there's 148 and a half contracts at $6 on the Denver Nuggets. The Memphis Grizzlies, who I'm sure are very popular, at $4, 154 contracts available. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they had I believe they won last night behind Donovan Mitchell, $3 at 153 contracts. So tons of opportunities to really buy low at a large sum of contracts. Jack, it is Thursday, of course. So what we love to do here on the program is talk about Thursday night football. We unfortunately have the Arizona Cardinals and the New Orleans Saints. I made a matchup graphic for it. I don't think I actually put it in the show. So let me do that real quick, and that way we can actually look at the pricing. That way it's not just on the phone. But I could tell you we had a bit of a conversation a short time ago just about the there we go. Just about the pricing on the total. But let's take a look at the money line. The Saints, $44. The Cardinals at $59 at last check on Sport Trade. The spread, the Saints, a 1.5 dog at 47. The Cardinals, a 1.5 favorite at 54. The over, again, the total rather, 54.5 at 40. Jeez, I can't even read my own graphics. 45.5. Priced the same for the over at last check, 55.5 for the under. We talked about the total. I'm a little surprised that the Cardinals, who have lost 8 consecutive games at home, which is like impossible to do in the NFL. I don't know how that happens unless you suck and you have a bad coach and you have a bunch of injuries and your quarterback doesn't study. Other than that, I don't know how that happens. Trading at 59. But the Saints also have Michael Thomas injured, Jarvis Landry injured, Jameis Winston probably not playing. So I'm getting into grade my angle here. It feels like everything is pulling towards the Saints because there's so much negative energy against the Arizona Cardinals. So let me lay out my case, and you can grade whether or not I'm continuing to sharpen the dagger here. Again, total 45.5. So I'm leaning towards the under. Again, we'll pull it up on unabated. The best line throughout the day, we'll see if that still holds true, was on Sport Trade. It has since moved, but I guarantee you we will adjust that. I have a sixth, maybe even a seventh sense for these things. 45.5. Nola 2 and 4 to that number. I know we hate trends. We don't like trends, but at some point, maybe you can't ignore them. The Cardinals 4 and 2 to this number. Thursday night football games as a whole have been underwhelming. I think we can all agree, but specific to 45.5, 5 and 1 to the under, regardless this season. Thursday night football games in general, 4 and 2 to this specific number. But something I do think is interesting, Thursday night football games as a whole in their last 20 games, 16 and 4 to the under. Now that's a bit misleading, right? Because every total is different, every game situation is different. But there are external factors here that aren't just quantifiable. The quality of football has been bad. The turnaround, as it is every year, is really difficult for Thursday games because if you've ever paid attention to a schedule for a team, Monday is a recovery day, a film day, an install day. Tuesday is a walkthrough. And for visiting teams, Wednesday is a travel day. So there's no actual practicing going on. Arizona is trying to get Robbie Anderson into their offense, they just traded for. They just got DeAndre Hopkins back off a 6-game suspension. Their quarterback was saying 2 days ago he's frustrated because he has no idea how to fix an offense that has been stuck in mud for weeks and weeks and weeks. Arizona is 31st in the league in yards per play. And again, they have a bad coach. And they've lost 8 straight games at home. So even though this under, which is at 45.5, and even though it is at last check here, and I'll double check it one more time before I make my final pick here, I know we don't usually like slinging picks on the show, but I feel like this is appropriate. No, I'm still in the futures. Even though this is now at 57.5 to the under. Well, not my preferred price to pay. Mm-hmm. I still feel like the under has to be the play.
Dan, you're getting sharper.
Okay.
So I didn't quite like all of those trends at the beginning, but once you get it into here is why Thursday night games are lower scoring.
You got to contextualize, baby. Come on.
You got to contextualize.
Yeah.
And you laid out some great points on why Arizona is indeed stuck in the mud. I am with you. I think this is under or pass. So
okay.
And it's no problem to pass if you just don't feel like it's possible. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to watch the first quarter of this game.
Sure.
And then go on to the Sport Trade app and decide which way I'm headed in this one. There's a lot of things that can happen in the first quarter of the game that can be telling for the rest of the game because the first quarter is largely scripted. Most coaches script out their first couple drives, and you can understand what kind of what pace they want to play with in this game, how they want to approach their opponent. You can get a lot more information, and those lines in game are based on the pregame closing line in terms of their basis point, and then they vary based on what's happening in the game. So they're still kind of tied to that pregame. And if you find a situation where the in-game is going wildly different than what the pregame notion of what the game book would be, you can profit from that. So I'm going to watch the first quarter, then I'm going to make my play. And I still think it'll probably be under or pass, but you never know.
I do find myself, now that you can trade in and out so easily, I do find myself less apt to trade pregame and more willing to sort of wait to see how a game is developing in order to jump in. Now, that could go, a couple different ways. We had Clive Bigsby on the show earlier this week, and he said pregame is really a great spot to find CLV and Sport Trade, and you can cash out if you find it, if you really do your homework. You were saying you actually prefer to in-game trade.
Yeah, I saw Alex out at G2E last week, and he was telling me, look, pregame guys are doing really good, but in-game guys aren't the bettors aren't doing as well. And I go, well, I'm only betting in-game, Alex. And he goes, yeah, I noticed you only bet in-game. I go, am I missing the boat when it comes to these pregame wagers? Basically, all I have time for these days is to do the in-game wagers when I see a game on, and I love using the app to do it. So, yeah, there's a certain type of eye you need to have for in-game betting, and it's not for everyone. We have tools at Unabated, not to steer this back to us, but we have tools at Unabated that help the in-game bettor by showing you in real time what the market's doing and how to right-size those prices compared to what's available on Sport Trade or available on other apps. And Sport Trade is in our in-game live screen as of yesterday.
So as you're watching a game, we'll say you're betting the under tonight. Are you hesitant to make a move until after that first 15 is scripted?
Not necessarily. That's just a good point where the gameplay is going to stop long enough for you to collect your thoughts.
Okay.
Because the first quarter, we usually have 3 drives. You have the first drive, the second drive, and then the third drive typically doesn't finish before the quarter ends. And if it does, then it's a punt situation. So you often have at the end of the first quarter a team that could be over midfield into scoring position. In the first and third quarter, they're not going to bother to try to get it in before the clock. They're just going to wait for the flip the field. So the first quarter ending is a good spot. It's a long commercial break for you to stop, do a little line chopping, figure out your thoughts, and then fire.
I love that. Guess what I'll be doing tonight, honey? Sorry. No, that's great, amazing, actionable information for those of us who maybe didn't know it. We'll put up the partnership notification just one more time. Again, if you create a funded account with Sport Trade and place a trade to receive a free trial membership to Unabated Premium. So you could very well this evening, if you live in the state of New Jersey, download the app, make a deposit, and then you too, at the end of the first quarter, could be live trading with Jack. Maybe not physically, emotionally. Could be live trading with him. Jack, this has been great, as it always is. We always appreciate you coming into the show. Any last thoughts before we say goodbye?
It's sports equinox.
It is.
So if you're not finding anything to bet on, you're just not trying today. All four major sports. There's college football lines moving all over the place today. Really, if you're not paying attention and finding some value somewhere, maybe sports betting's not for you. I don't know. It's just a great day to be a sports bettor. It doesn't matter what your discipline is. You can find something today.
So let me ask you, on Sport Trade, of course, we list a ton of markets specific to college football. How deep on college football will you go? We have Troy and South Alabama, not to put you on the spot. How deep are you going?
So college football has always been a giant that I never want to try to slay just because it's so big. It's so many different. And once we got our odds screen up and I started to see what FCS numbers do on game day, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is. Our screen lights up when it comes to FCS games on a game day, and you can sort by that hold column, and you'll just see where the value is, and it's almost like it's a ticker symbol coming through, like value here, and it's amazing.
Well, Sport Trade has your back on the value. The best line on South Alabama. These are totals, and Virginia, or I should say the over on that one, and the under. In the South Alabama game. South Alabama, the best number on them for the money line, for winner, and for Georgia Tech as well. So if you are on Sport Trade, 2 out of 4 ain't bad. That's 50% of the market right there, the best prices you can find on Sport Trade. Jack, thank you so much again. This has been great. We're looking forward to people funding accounts on Sport Trade, and then, of course, getting that free trial membership to Unabated. We'll remind you before we go one more time about the sweepstakes here on Market Movers, giving away $100 every single Friday. You can still enter and have a chance to win tomorrow here on the show. And all you got to do is follow a Sport Trade app and quote tweet the live Market Mover show with hashtag TradeUpNewJersey. I'm not even asking you to follow me. I get nothing out of this. I just sit here and talk. That is Market Movers. Thank you so much to Captain Jack, as always, for coming in. We are on the air for now, but we are about to be off. Tomorrow, Pine Sports is back to break down some of the value in the futures market. Can the Buffalo Bills actually pull this off and win you, despite the fact that you'd have to lay a quarter of the market in order to do so? We will find out tomorrow. Same time, same place.